everyone. We're here with Brand Passalacqua, founder of Breathing Deeply. And today we're talking about the idea that many of us have when we come out of 200-hour teacher trainings around yoga poses and what they're good for. So, you open up Light on Yoga, or you open up your yoga, manual, and it's this pose equals this effect, right? So like pigeon pose is grounding, or handstands are energizing, or whatever it may be, where if you just do the pose, you're going to get this effect, like on your digestion or something like that. But Brandt, I've heard you talk about this, and this is something that you talk passionately about, that we can't think about poses as these individualized things that are going to have specific energetic or other effects on our systems.
Yeah. It's always like, whenever I hear that, I mean, I have books by people I really respect that like bring this up. I have like, everyone has their own experience with poses, so people get really like attached to what they think. And there's definitely like a whole bunch of systems that like incorporate that. It kind of drives me crazy as a yoga therapist, because for me, I'm always thinking, what does this practice, or in this case, pose, do for this person? And I'll just say it this way, I guess it's simply untrue. You can't make a blanket statement about any pose. You can't say this pose is grounding. It may not be grounding. You have someone has certain kinds of trauma, you have someone with a different physiology, you have somebody with a different mental state. And if you're thinking like Ayurvedically, depending on your doshic makeup, you might experience things differently. So all those things come into play. So it actually makes no sense.
So how should we think about tree pose then?
Well, I mean, you can think about it a lot of ways. You can think about it like there's a physical component to tree pose, like, and there's some facts there, like it's a balancing pose, and like, your standing ankle has to do certain things, the muscles, to keep you there, and you have your sort of vestibular system that's working, right, to keep you there. But beyond that, I mean, I know that these, and I'm sure this won't land well with a lot of people, but I'll say it anyway. Like, there's all these systems where you're working with like, this pose affects these doshas, or this pose affects these vayus, and it's not necessarily true, and so to present that as a truth, like this is going to move energy upward, this is going to move energy downward, this is going to balance vata or increase kapha. I mean, every pose can be done in a variety of ways by different people. So yeah, I just don't see any like reasonable way you can think that. So the way I think about it is, how is this person doing this pose? So people are made out of like, have a lot of different aspects. So what's going on for them physically, what's going on for them in their pranic body and breath, what's going on for them mentally, when they're doing this pose in this way. Is there a way to alter this pose so that they have a different experience, which requires them asking themselves some questions that sometimes people have to be prompted on, right? Am I getting calmer in this pose, or am I getting more agitated mentally versus physically? And sometimes those don't even match. So, when you see those articles like 10 poses for whatever, and then of course there's like the most egregious thing, which is like 10 poses for sciatica, where you don't even know why the person has sciatica. It's sort of like this like best guess, maybe for 60% of the people this might help, but it's not medically informed or anatomy informed. So that doesn't make any sense. And then 12 poses for depression, and of course, the typical thing would be like, they're all heart openers, because we've decided that, with some good reason, like opening the chest is an anti-depression maneuver, but that doesn't mean any individual doing 11 poses in a row that are chest openers is going to leave them feeling less depressed. It's just not true. Right. So yeah, not a fan.
That it sounds like it. When it comes to working with people, then it becomes about assessment and then intention. Um, it just depends on the person. And
Yeah, and
then,
that's not like a wishy-washy answer. Like in our
yeah.
school, like in the school I founded, like we teach protocols for assessment so that you can land on the poses you want to do with someone in the way you want to do them with them, and then ask them questions to make sure that their experience is matching, what you intended. So if you intended, in your example, for instance, to have someone feel more energized, well, here's what we're doing, but the person has to end up feeling that way or it's wrong. There's no other way. You can't just have them do a protocol and then just hope it works eventually. So yeah, it's a lot about assessment and how the yoga therapist is like thinking about it. Like, am I balancing a dosha? Am I trying to make this person more energetic? Am I trying to affect the nervous system? Like, what am I doing with these 6